So I am Alison Johnston. I am the lead policy officer in Scotland for the Office of the Information Commissioner. Well, I really think that the main benefit to cultural organisations is going to be building trust between their customer base and the people that they work with, because GDPR has the accountability principle. So the accountability principle means that organisations have to be able to evidence their compliance. It's no longer going to be good enough just to say that you are compliant. So it means that people will be able to see your compliance. The organisations, there is a requirement for them to be open and transparent about their data processing activities. So again, this builds trust, makes people more confident in how the organisation are working with their personal data. They know that it's not going to be misused. Going back to what was in the press about a year ago at the beginning of 2016, when we found quite a lot of charities, and that was because they weren't being open and honest in what they were doing with their personal data. So they were sharing personal data, but they hadn't told people they were going to do that. They were doing profiling, but they hadn't said that they were going to carry out profiling. So the information was being used in ways that people didn't expect them to, and that was where it was a breach of the Data Protection Act under GDPR. Stuff like that would be a breach if the individuals don't know that it's happening. So as long as the organisations are telling people that they're going to be sharing the data, who they're going to be sharing it with, why they're sharing it, if they're going to be carrying out profiling, telling them, yeah, we're going to profile you, this is why we're doing it, that is what's really, really important, and that again is what's going to be building the trust, because people aren't going to be surprised about what you're doing with their data. I think the main benefit that I really think of is about the trust and building trust. Yeah. And you get so many organisations that are doing a good job, and people sometimes maybe assume that they make the assumption that because they're a small organisation and they've not got the loads of resources that people like your big banks and that do to put into personal data, they sometimes think that they're maybe not as good at it. Whereas under GDPR, because of the accountability principle, they're going to be able to go stand up and say, well, yeah, actually we are just as good, and here is our evidence, here is what we are doing, and this is why you can trust us.